Welcome to Susie's Enchanted Crossroads, a podcast that helps you navigate your journey through the crossroads. I'm Suzie, and together we will be taking a deeper look into witchcraft and spirituality. So settle in, and let's get this episode going. Hello, gorgeous souls, and welcome back to Susie's Enchanted Crossroads. How are you doing today? All right, well, I have been getting amazing feedback from my listeners out there. Thank you so much for listening. And even more so when you reach out and you drop a question, you drop a line. All the links are in the show notes on questions you have or topic ideas. But this whole getting back into the practice, I feel like just has been the energy. And the thing is what I'm telling my listeners out there. So if you're listening, you probably heard me tell you it's okay, you're not alone in this. And it's so easy to get down on ourselves, beat ourselves up because we've fallen away from our practice or we don't do the things that we used to do. And I'm not just talking about in your witchcraft or, your spiritual practice. Even as I'm talking and we're getting a little bit deeper, scratching more than just the surface, the result is, well, I used to do this all the time and it brought me so much joy and comfort, and I really did feel just happy doing it. And that was your safe space. It gave you your creative boost and drive. It helped your nervous system. You felt grounded when you did that. And then sometimes life happens, and before you know it, you're not doing the thing anymore. And that's very, very commonplace. And as I was telling some of my listeners out there, I was an avid reader. Like, I would read books like nobody's business. I would write like nobody's business. And the reading, I don't know when that started to fall away. I do have an idea because it's like, you're reading. Why are you reading when you should be watching TV with me? Well, it's nothing I want to be watching. We're still in the same room together. So there's a trigger, right? And same with my writing. I had a trauma that I'll share for another time, but trauma with the writing, my personal writing, and now I don't write anymore. And sometimes it's difficult for me to even journal. So for myself, and if you haven't listened to the micro witchy routines, I do offer you that episode first. Even the very first episode of season 2, I would invite you to listen to those 2 episodes. It doesn't have to be before this one, but you should if you get a chance, um, because we're all in that same boat. Sometimes we're in there together. Sometimes we've been there. Um, Sometimes it's just something that happens until you stop, right? And you think, when was the last time I actually read something for myself? Or took a relaxing bath, or drew, or painted, or went for a walk without having to worry about, pets or kiddos or anything like that. And that's when we put ourselves to the wayside. So if that's been you or you feel like you're currently going through that, I do invite you to listen to those previous episodes. But this episode is a little bit different. Okay. And this is and this could be anything else that you do daily that you want to do on a daily practice, but I am going to narrow it down to a daily tarot practice or a card, any divination practice that you use, because I know some use tarot, oracle cards, Lenormand cards, or runes. Maybe you throw bones, you scribe, whatever it is that you have for your daily practice. But I'm going to focus on tarot because this is where I when I was just getting started and I wanted to do all the things, and it was just, man, when I get excited, I want to do something. I want to do all the things like right then and right now. Like I want to learn. I just want to absorb it. I just feel like a little sponge. I want to absorb all of the knowledge and how to do it and let me try. And so then I got stuck in that social media loop. The one where you're scrolling and then the algorithm picks up and it's like, oh, you keep looking at this video for more than 2 seconds. So now you're just going to see all these videos. And as I was coming into my practice, the one thing was pull a card for yourself every single day, daily. Daily tarot practice. You pull a card for yourself. And I bought my deck. I was pulling a few cards here and there, and then I learned how to read, and I was reading for others. And so I wanted to pull a daily card pull because it looked like that's what everybody was doing. If you were a good tarot reader, if you were a good, oracle reader, you were pulling a card for yourself every single day and journaling on it and reflecting on it, and you meditate and you take that card with you throughout the whole day, and at the end of the day, you sit down and you think about how that card impacted you. And at first I was like, "Oh, I can put this one thing on my plate. Why not?" So I do it. But then it wasn't feeling as something that was grounding me. It started feeling like, and I don't want to say a chore. It wasn't a chore. I started, if I missed a day because I snoozed my alarm or I was running late, what have you, whatever was happening that morning. Because I'm not a morning person. I wake up early because I have to, but I generally take my time in the morning, too much time. But then it started feeling as if I was letting myself down. Like I can't, how can I call myself a tarot reader if I don't even pull a daily card for myself every single day and journal and reflect and then I stopped doing it because what we're seeing on social media for the most part isn't going to work for everybody. And it's not real life. I have to be at work hella early. I work with the youths, you know, and working with a lot of people, regardless of their age, right? You are working with a lot of people. That is a lot of energy. And pulling a tarot card every single day is a beautiful practice. It really is. But only if it doesn't feel like it's an overwhelm and just another added thing to do. Pulling a tarot card or pulling any kind of divination should be inspiring. It should be informative. And how you set up takes time. Because, yeah, you can shuffle the deck, pull a card, and that takes no time at all. However, I like to sometimes this was before, right? I liked, to breathe and feel my feet on the ground and pull, incense and all around me and cleanse my deck and my space and connect with my guides. And I want to use my oils and, oh, you know what feels really good right now? The spray. And okay, I'm ready. And pull. And what does this mean? And I was still really learning tarot. And so if I was confused at that moment, like, oh, why this card? What does the book have to say? Or, you know what? I don't need the book. What is my intuition saying or telling me? And let me write this down. All of that takes added time for you to do in the morning. And if your mornings are, you got to wake up, get yourself ready for work, get kids ready for school, help other people get ready for work, feed feed the fur babies, make sure everyone's got homework and we got gas in the car. And did you get lunch? How about breakfast? And so having all of that already part of your morning, it's really hard to add something else if it's not going to feel grounding to you. It shouldn't heighten your anxiety or your stress. So, an easy way to dip your toes in, if you're a reader or you want to pull some divination, or even if it's not divination, even if you're trying to implement one of those micro routines that I talked about in the past episode, you do so with kindness and gently. So, for example, maybe you learned a sigil. You created your own. Awesome. You know this sigil. You look at it and you know it and you feel a connection to it. And maybe that sigil you just implement it in your coffee or your tea. Maybe you put lotion or oils on your fingertips and you know, put this sigil mark on your body because nobody's gonna know. Same goes with pulling a tarot card for the day, right? So, here are some simple daily pull ideas that you can use if you're wanting to implement this. I'm also going to preface it doesn't have to be daily. What I had started doing was as soon as I was like, this is not sustainable to me unless I'm going to wake up at least 20 minutes earlier. And I don't know about waking up at no 4:50 right now. Okay, because that's just not part of my routine until I can go to bed a little bit earlier and set up my nighttime routine so that I am successful in the morning, right? But I'll get there. So for now, I like to pull cards at least for the week, which is what I do for my newsletter coven. So that way, something micro you can do on your end, if you're part of my free newsletter coven, if you're not, link in the show notes, is if you're not ready to pull for yourself, or maybe you don't read yet, for yourself, you open up that email, but you're not just opening and just skimming it. Yeah, you open it. Maybe you feel your feet on the floor. This is your time, right? At least 2 minutes. You open it, you read it, you see the card, the energy for the week, what's going on in the cosmos, and then done. Because I do put a picture of the card in my newsletter. So that way you can come back to it and reflect and really look at that card. So things you can ask is, what energy am I walking into today? What energy is within me today? This helps you tune into what is already going on inside you. Now, don't be one of those where you pull a card and it's the tower card, and then you're like, what? My energy within me feels great. I'm fantastic. Okay. Are you really fantastic, or are you covering up something that you should be focusing on? Because that foundation's going to crumble to the ground and you either see it now and address it or wait till the universe kicks the chair from under you. But either way, it's not sustainable. Sometimes we see scary cards and we're like, oh, hell no, not me. But it's not a scary card. None of the tarot cards are scary. It's that it's inviting you to look at the shadow self. You can even ask, what am I being invited to embody today? That way, you're bringing intention or empowerment into the day. So, if your goal is to call back your power, that would be a fantastic way to pull one card, okay, and just have it on your altar, have it at your desk, take a picture of it, and it's your lock screen on your phone. You can take that card and take it with you and put it in your planner. Or Maybe you take a picture of it and you just post it on your story and your social media and you just come back to it. The point I'm trying to make is you shouldn't be pulling cards or whatever just to do it, just to say that you do it because you feel that that's what everyone else is doing. Remember, this is your practice and you can't do it wrong. This is your own personal practice. When you have time, maybe you etch out once a month, every, I don't know, second Thursday of the month. Maybe you go in late to work. Maybe, the doors don't open until 10 a.m., whatever. Maybe then you pull a card, pull a rune, and you sit with that while you're sipping your morning coffee, morning tea, morning energy drink. I've seen a few people, just to get off a little bit, I've seen a few people having energy drinks instead of coffee in the mornings. Is that I know it's not new. I've seen people do it before, or they would have a soda in the morning instead of coffee. But is that the new thing? Because I've seen a lot of people do this. More often than not, it's not coffee that they have, it's an energy drink. So I'm just curious if you do that or if this is a new thing. Can you let me know? Because I feel like out of the loop. Um, where was I? Oh, if you're trying to get into the routine of a daily pull or a weekly pull or a monthly pull, you need to make it part of your routine, duh, but making it special for you so that you remember it. So that's what I'm saying. You can take a picture of that card and have it as a lock screen. You can post it on your social media. You can put it on your altar. Put it in your scheduler or your planner, like I said. Because the point of pulling that card and whatever question you have asked or guidance that you're asking for is to come back to that card. Because the more that you see that card, and I'm going to see if I can pull a card from my deck right here. The more that you see that card, as things go on through your day, week, month, then you start to realize, oh, that's the energy of this card. I can see that now. Because you might not see it right then and there. You might not see it for a couple of days. You're like, I don't understand this card. So let's see, what card can I pull for myself today as I'm recording? Let's see. Oh, Four of Wands. Perfect. Right now, I'm not in my regular recording area. I'm using a different mic. The back of my head, I'm worried about echoes and whatnot, but I'm recording and talking about something that I really, really enjoy, right? Four of Wands energy, feeling balanced, a coming together. We're coming together, me and you. We're having a nice little chit chat and celebration. Little wins here and there, feeling complete, feeling loved, feeling appreciative. Also today, I received a gift and it was socks that says, what did they say? This teacher is off duty or something like that. And then I got a little tumbler that says, I love Pedro Pascal with Pedro's face all over it. That's a celebration. That made me so happy. And if I'm going to look at this card for the week, this weekend, we're celebrating a birthday. I'm so excited. We are planning that today. Now, if I'm looking at the energy for the month, there's been nothing but celebrations. We had celebrations of a few birthdays, Mother's Day, celebration of coming together as a family, a small family unit, like, our intimate little family, and having laughs, enjoying the time together, celebrating. That's what the card pull of your day, week, month, whatever helps. Whatever fits your life best, that's the intention. Now, can you journal on it? Of course. You can also start leaving yourself voice notes. Just have a separate folder. I've learned that the hard way, so you're not looking for your stuff everywhere. But that is where the tarot and your divination really becomes a part of you. And then when you feel comfortable, like, you know what? This daily pull for the month has been amazing these past few months. I'm going to try for the week now. Maybe you pull for the month, you get a card. Maybe that's your signifier energy for the month. And then you pull for the week, what you can expect for the week, your energy for the week. So it doesn't necessarily always need to be, what do I need to know today? It can be. And if you need some prompts, hit me up. I got you. Easy peasy lemon squeezies, or you just pull. And if I were to leave this card somewhere where I can come back to it, where it's just gonna pop up on me, and I'm looking, it's like this card is it's the OG Rider-Waite Smith deck. So a lot of yellow, very bright. Two figures, with their hands up. Looks like they're holding bouquets. And of course, the four wands. There's a castle. There's people in the background. So maybe later on during the week, I'm looking at something and it triggers a memory of this card. And I don't know, maybe the person in front of me paid for my coffee from Coffee Box. Wow. Oh my gosh. And, when they hand me my cup, the little coffee sleeve is all florals, just like in the Four of Wands. That's how you make those connections. Then later on, when you're reading tarot for yourself, especially if you're first starting out, that's how you make these connections to your cards. It's a very, very beautiful practice as long as you fit this practice for you and not anybody else. It doesn't have to look, like Pinterest worthy. It's not like you need to have an altar, like with a bunch of candles and you can, but you want something that's going to stick with you and it's sustainable and it helps you in your practice. It helps you grow. Sometimes it's nice just to have the deck with you and it travels with you everywhere, even if you don't pull the card yet. Something happens, life gets in the way, but you know what? You have your deck there. Maybe you can't have a full-size deck. Guess what? You can get a mini deck. And maybe you can't have tarot around, you're on the DL, you're on the down low about your witchiness right now. That's okay too. Daily affirmations in a book. They sell cards that way too, and you can pull from there. All of these things can be like having a spiritual companion by your side. Sometimes it's whispering wisdom, throughout the day. Sometimes it's a smack in the face. Boom, this is what you need. Tarot and all of these routines and mini rituals shouldn't feel like too much. It should be less. It should be so easy. It should be light. It should be a moment between you and your higher self, or you and your soul, or just you and your guides, however it is. It's that connection to yourself because you are powerful. And like I always say, you are the magic. You are already enough. Sometimes it's just overwhelming because you have a lot on your plate, or, something came up in life. There's so many things that can, switch the trajectory of life. You know what I mean? So again, you want to create just a grounded, intuitive tarot practice or oracle practice or rune practice or sigil practice into your real life, where even if you are short on time or energy, it's not going to take more. It gives you a little bit of life. It boosts that battery. And like I'm telling you, you can go back to the micro witchy routines that I have a couple episodes ago because I know for myself, I without fail, an oil every day. It's right by the vanity. I draw a sigil with it. I take 10, 30 seconds to breathe, close my eyes, give myself a little hug, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, shake it off. I'm out the door. Easy. It's a part of me. It's a part of what I do. And I feel connected. I feel grounded. I have that confidence. And I feel like I'm connected with my intuition more, just like in tarot. There was a point a few years ago where I was not the happiest at my job. It was about the time where I didn't even want to leave my car. And I would sit in my car longer and longer and longer each morning. And so, in order to feel a little bit better, I would put a deck in my car. And as I'm sitting there, kind of like, oh, here we go. Here's another day. Ugh, because I had extra time. I wasn't late. Would be a little bit early, but I knew as soon as I walked in through those doors, I wouldn't have a moment's peace. I started leaving my tarot deck in my car. And sometimes it's just, oh man, how can you help me today? Help me survive the day. What can you tell me? Cool, Four of Wands. And somehow that's just that connection, right? I just feel like I'm connected and grounded. And like, you know what? A win? I'll take any win. A win's a win, right? A win's a win. And maybe that day I didn't get a single crazy email. My classes were not disruptive. All the kids were like super cool, chill. Oh my God, that would be a win. And whatever it is. But Susie, what if I'm not really versed with tarot? That's okay. This is how you learn. This is how you connect with your cards. Now, I am gonna plug that the wait list for mine and Elena's tarot course, Tarot 101, is coming up. I just posted it on my story, so it's available. Just drop your email if you're curious, and I'll send you all the information. But basically, it's a course that we created together, and we help people, whether you're brand new to tarot, you somewhat know it, or you read on the daily. We help you learn tarot and how to look at each card a little bit deeper. And it's not overwhelming. It's not a stuffy classroom. It's all virtual, right? We're here to have a good time, and the good time helps you learn and retain the information to feel good, to feel connected. And that's the whole point, not the feeling of overwhelm by tarot, especially tarot, because people are like, oh my gosh, there's so many cards and upright and upside down and shadow cards and major, minor arcana and court cards. And oh my gosh, it's just so much. It's so much. I mean, it can be that way. But when you take your time with it, and if you have good teachers to help guide you, even better. But again, you can learn on your own. I learned on my own. I didn't have anybody. But I really did feel, especially because the tarot was coming up a lot, how do you do a daily card pull practice? And sometimes maybe it's just not a good fit for you, and that's okay. It's just your reminder. You don't need a full spread. You don't need the full crystal grid or the 30 minutes of journaling to connect with the cards. Sometimes all it takes is one card, one deep breath, and one pause of your day. So, if you would like me to send you some prompts or some ideas, I would be happy to do so. Remember, this is a fun time. This is where you learn and engage and connect. There is no judgment here. We're not being hard on ourselves. And if you have more questions on things you would like to implement daily, I can start adding them to a list and maybe do an updated episode on either micro routines or maybe you want to have daily card pull practices. How can we start implementing that? Like that is your goal. That is your goal for 6 months, a daily card pull. Awesome. We could get you there if that is your goal. If that's what truly makes you happy, and that's navigating the ebbs and flows of life. All right, gorgeous souls. All of the links are in the show notes. Sign up for that Tarot 101 class. You will not regret it. We're super fun teachers. You're going to have a great time whether you're brand new to it or a practicing witch for decades. You'll find what you're looking for. Maybe learn something a little different and new. All right. Until next time, I will see you at the crossroads. Thank you for listening to this episode of Susie's Enchanted Crossroads. I'd love to hear what resonated with you, so don't be shy. Tap the links in the show notes to send a message or share your thoughts. Make sure you leave a review because your voice helps this community grow and guides others to find this podcast and their magic. Want even more enchantment between episodes? Sign up for my weekly newsletter for rituals, energy tips, and exclusive updates. And don't forget to follow me on my socials on Instagram and TikTok for your daily doses of magic, silliness, and behind-the-scene moments. If you felt a little magic today, share this episode with a friend who might need it. And until next time, I will see you at the crossroads.